Hey my friends, welcome back to another Storytime Yoga. This session will work with our hips quite a bit, and I'm going to ask you to be near a wall because at the end of the session we will put our legs up the wall and have a bit of space on your wall, about the distance of your outstretched arms, so that you can widen your legs and go into a wide angle shape and a frog shape against the wall with your legs up the wall. So for that, you'll want to bolster some rolled up blankets, and you can also start sitting on a blanket today. Have any props, other props that might support you for this practice. And we'll begin crossing our left leg in front of our right. So you might cross it like that. You could cross at the ankles. You could cross at the shins. You could stack your ankles one on top of the other if you want. I'm elevating myself on a blanket here. And then we'll start by coming in. So coming forwards into that box stretch. You might wiggle a little bit side to side and let your head hang. And the story we will explore is a Sumerian myth. It's the story of Inanna, and it's a story about making contact with the parts of us that we don't always want to acknowledge, that we don't always want to see. This is a story about going to places inside that might feel like physically tight, maybe isolated or lonely. Maybe there's shame in some of those areas. Maybe there's darkness in some of those areas. So it's really a matter of when we're ready to meet those places. So let's walk on down and take a few breaths. We'll come on up from there, and we'll cross our left knee over top of our right. So we're going to bring that right knee more to the bottom, right knee more to the center, the left knee more on top. So it might look a little bit more like this. You could see if you can pile your knees one on top of the other. You might sit up a little bit higher, point your toes, or some of you might want to bring your shins more parallel with the long edge of your mat. And we'll start to come in. And in this one, I like to pulse a little down and up, just taking my time to get into it. You might stay down for a couple of breaths. Maybe let your head hang. So this Sumerian myth is around 5,000 or 6,000 years old. And Inanna was the queen of the upper world. So she was glorious and seemingly perfect, and everything in her life seemed perfect. She had the perfect consort, the perfect kingdom. But for her, there was something missing. There was something amiss. She was starting to get tired and bored of the whole surface perfection that was going on. And she thought she just had this urge and calling to go down into the underworld. And in the underworld, coincidentally, lived her sister, her dark sister, whose name was Ereshkigal. So from here, let's come on up. And we're gonna lean away from our bottom leg. So opposite of me, lean left. And find a side stretch there with your right arm over your head. You can hold the back of your neck. You can bend your bottom elbow as much as you like. Rainbow your ribs towards the ceiling. And then come all the way up. And we'll take our soles of our feet together before we switch sides there. So with the soles of your feet together, you can circle into your hips, going one way and then the other. With your breath, let's switch our side. So it's our right in front this time. Getting up onto your prop if you're using one, you can cross at shins or ankles. You can, of course, stack your shins, finding that just right place for you, where you can walk your seat back and your hands forwards. You might let your head hang, grounding your outer hips here. So Inanna knew she had to do it, but everyone in her kingdom said, why would you go down there? Why would you bother? It's so perfect up here. And she knew she couldn't ignore what was happening inside of her. So she made a firm resolve to take the journey, and she told one of her assistants that if she didn't come back in 3 days, that she would need someone to go down and get her. So one more breath here. Maybe you're letting your head hang. You can come on up from there and start to stack your left knee more to center. You might come a little higher up on a block, your right knee on top. It could be a little staggered with your knees, or you could pile one knee on top of the other. Perhaps you point your toes. This is also an opportunity for you to get your thumbs in the arches of your feet. Give yourself a little massage. If you want more sensation, you could go more parallel with your shins to the long edge of your mat. And you could start to pulse in and out here. Maybe stay a little lower. You can come on up and go away from your bottom leg. So opposite of me, I'm going to the right to open up through the top side into a side bend. You can lower your bottom elbow as much as you like. Just find that just right spot where you can be with space and sound and breath and sensation. Rainbow your top ribs. You can circle all the way up from there, and we'll take our feet together and hands on the shins and circle into our hips. Sometimes when you go one side here, you can use your elbow to drop your knee and your other hand to encourage a bit of a descent of the opposite leg. Churning into your pelvis with your spine. And we'll make our way onto our right side when you're ready. So you can go lengthways on your mat. Take your right forearm underneath your shoulder, and here really allow your shoulder to come up and around your ear. So you're, instead of going for a dropped shoulder, as we often cue shoulders away from the ears, it's a really lifted shoulder so that this under armpit area, the rib area, can get a big stretch. Now if you're not feeling much there, you can come up a bit higher and point your fingertips away from you, and then let that shoulder shrug up and around your ear, and find this kind of a lounging lizard side body stretch. You can tuck your chin. Sometimes I like to sort of rock forwards and back in this one. You can also take your top left leg and plant it. Might bring a little more space for you into the shape. And so Inanna started her journey down into the underworld, into these parts of herself that are a little more quiet and hidden. And the first thing that she lost was her crown, which is meant to be her connection to the upper world. Right, so here you can pull your hand a bit more underneath your shoulder. If you like, plant your left foot in front and reach up and tone your bottom hip and your bottom side for a breath. And then we'll come all the way down and lower all the way down onto our side. So you're welcome to hold your temple and find a long line. Now, if you're feeling a bit bouncy, which can happen in this shape, you can tip into a little bit of a pike and it'll be a little less bouncy. So wherever you are, you can externally rotate your top leg so your inner leg faces forwards. Catch your knee maybe, draw your knee towards your armpit there. You can catch the back of your calf, your ankle, or your foot and reach your leg up towards the ceiling. We'll take a few breaths here in Anantasana. So the second thing that she lost was her necklace. And the necklace was symbolizing her voice. So as she went deeper into herself, she lost the will to talk. She was becoming more quiet. And maybe you can relate to this when you're deep in a meditation or deep in a practice. It's like the outer world is a little further away, like a little bit softer. There's a little bit of a buffer between you and sort of what's happening around you. Maybe the ring of your phone doesn't seem so loud or abrupt, or if something fell and smashed on your kitchen floor, it wouldn't bother you as much. It wouldn't jack your nervous system as much as you start to go inside. So we'll let that top leg come down, and you can let your bottom leg come forwards here. I'm just going to lean back so you can see that. So now I have about a 90-degree angle with my bottom leg and my top leg, and I'm on my inner back foot. And I'm going to start to turn myself so that I'm in more of a sphinx shape in my upper body. It's like I'm turning my belly button towards the floor. So if this is too much, you can bend your bottom leg and explore that. If you want a little more sensation, the higher up and the straighter your leg is as you turn, likely the more you're going to feel the outer hip. So you can make it as strong or as soft as you like. And if you don't want to be up on your forearms and you want to have this a little bit more soft, then you can stack your hands and let your forehead come down on your hands. You might reach out through both of your legs for a moment here. And then come on up, and we'll swing our bottom leg to meet our top leg, draw our knees in, and switch sides. So our first shape here is to either take forearm underneath shoulder, stacking your legs in line with your hips, and then really let that shoulder shrug happen, the sort of anti-cue, so that you're really lengthening into your armpit. If you're not feeling much there, there's a few options. You can come up a little higher, fingertips pointed away. You can take your front foot to the floor, maybe tuck your chin, and really let that shoulder shrug and your side ribs get nice and long. I like to feel a bit of a hollowing back through my abdomen here. So there's a bit of a release through the QL, that big back muscle between ribs and pelvis. And then as Inanna keeps going down into this underworld, she loses her jewel-studded belt. And that is in this area of will and willpower. And so it's said that she loses her willpower as she goes deeper and deeper in. And I thought this was interesting to look at because it might mean that some of our willpower is directed at things that keep us out of our inner self. So that's how I sort of deciphered the loss of willpower as we go deeper inside to meet those places that are a little more hidden. So we can take a breath there. Now you can take that bottom arm more in, bend it a little bit, sharp outer edge of your left foot, and make the top side rainbow open now, strengthening the bottom side and coming all the way down. And then finding that long line, you can hold your temple, pike a little if you want to keep it a little softer, a little more activity in the core to find a straight line. Top leg reaches up, external rotation of it so your inner leg points forwards, and you can catch your knee there and draw it in towards your armpit, or catch your back of your calf, back of your knee, or your ankle or your toe for Anantasana. A little bit of subtle core work if you're in a straight line to hold the middle. And you can passively draw your leg in, or you can play with actually wherever you're holding, pushing your leg away from you, almost like you want to take it back down to the ground. And so she keeps going down, 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 and finally at the bottom she's stripped of all her clothes and she's naked. And that's sort of how it feels in our most vulnerable spaces. And she's there, and her sister is not super happy to see her because her sister is quite lonely, sad, angry, unhappy, in pain. And her sister looks at her servant and just says, "Kill her." So one more breath here. And lower down your leg. You can come up a little bit to let your bottom leg swing forwards. Now choose bent knee, kicking it out towards straight, raising it up a little higher, your choice, and turning your belly button towards the ground. You've got a sphinx shape in your upper body, or you stack your hands and let your forehead come down. And take a few breaths here as you spin your belly button to the floor. You can kick out through your legs or your knees. Feeling that width across the back sheet of your body. So the servant of the underworld sister does exactly what they're told, and they slice Inanna right down the middle, so it's quite a graphic visualization, and then actually takes out her innards and hangs them on a meat hook beside Ereshkigal, the dark sister. And this is intense, right? The intensity of how meeting some of these places that we hide can really feel like when we meet those places finally, when we may feel ready for them, it can feel like we're really exposed, vulnerable, and sort of broken. So we can come on up from that, take the bottom leg in, draw the knees in, and come on